Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I thought I'd take this little opportunity here to post a little Q&A, Ask Me Anything AMA video in between some tutorial videos. I've been posting a lot of tutorial videos and I thought I'd take a little opportunity for you guys to get to know me a little bit better. So I put out a little call for questions on Instagram and on here, YouTube, just asking you if you guys had any questions, some burning questions for me. So thought I'd take this opportunity to, I don't know, share myself a little bit more. So I saved some questions from Instagram and here. I'm starting off with the Instagram questions and then I'll move on to the YouTube questions. They're not in any particular order, but you know, let's get answering some questions. So the first question I have is favorite food. I have some False Bubbles lore, some lore of me just classically loving pierogies. I love pierogies so much. I have that pierogi pattern that I put up on YouTube here. I think it's such a cute pattern, but I love pierogies so much. Like, not so much the dessert pierogies. I like a potato cheese, potato bacon, onion kind of thing. I don't know, maybe it's just a potato thing. I also really love potato pancakes. Maybe that's like my Ukrainian background, but I love potatoes, love them. Maybe it's a potato and sour cream thing because I love sour cream too. Oh, so good. That was a long question or a long answer for a short question. But anyways, moving on. Next question. What's the favorite thing that you've made? Ooh, that's a tough call. It's so tough. It's so tough. I've grabbed a couple of things like my OG characters, like my original designs of like these little characters with like a little story of I don't know, like their professions. So this one's Aggie the alligator, but I don't think Aggie's my favorite. I think, I don't know, Benedict the cottagecore bun with his little carrots. But actually, I think I'm gonna have to give it to Hamish the Highland cow. He's been stuffed away a little bit, so his hair is a little bit messy, but Hamish the Highland cow, this is one of my original designs. I think designed him last year. You can pick up the pattern on Etsy. I haven't transferred it over to Ribbler yet, but if you want this pattern, it is up on Etsy. I think this is my favorite. I think Hamish the Highland cow, I think he's a cutie, and I don't think he gets enough love. Would you make clothes? Okay, so I started, if you guys don't know this about me, I started knitting first. When I was in like grade 2, I was first introduced to knitting, and then probably around high school to university transition, somewhere in there, I picked up crocheting, and it was so difficult, so I put it back down. But I used to like knit some things. I knit a sweater, which I was super proud of, even though like the cuffs were a little bit weird, but I would knit like a bunch of like little things. But with crocheting, I haven't really crocheted anything wearable, but there is this pattern that like caught my eye on Instagram that I just like became immediately obsessed with, and I am like desperate to crochet it now. It is this pattern right here. I will hopefully upload a picture, and I will leave a link in the description to this pattern. I think they sell it on Ribbler and on Etsy, so whatever your preference is. But I am obsessed with this Kiwi cardigan. I can't. It's so cute. So I think I want to try making it. I would make clothes, but I don't know how to make patterns for clothes. I think the sizing, I never have to deal with sizes with Amigurumi, so I think the sizing's a little bit complicated. So I'm not a pattern designer for wearables. What is one of your fave crochet patterns you recommend for beginners? I started out with a book. I'll see if I can remember the name of it. I can't remember the name of it right now, but I'll Google along and try and find it, and I will put a picture here somewhere. The book kind of introduced me to a lot of crochet. The first time I crocheted, it was horrible. It was horrendous, and I gave up really quickly. And then the next time I picked it up with the help of the internet, it came a lot easier to me. I think anything that has a really basic shape is great. I have a few beginner patterns here on YouTube and just kind of scattered everywhere, but learning how to crochet and learning those basics, like single crochet chains, like learning those basics is really helpful first. But if you are just starting to crochet, someone that I recommend is Mohu Store. I'll try and remember to put a link in the description, but they have a lot of like left-handed, right-handed basics, beginner, like very digestible patterns that are like easy to crochet up. So, and they have kits and stuff too. I know the Woobles has been popping off. I think that started popping off like maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Don't know where that came from, but I've heard really good things. I've never tried it myself. So you can check out the Woobles or Mohu Store. But anything with like a very like basic shape. So like a circle, you know, like it's round. But like once you start getting complicated into stuff like this, where you're like attaching pieces, there's like shaping, it starts getting like a lot. So just try and find something that's like very basic. What was my first ever crochet project? So funny you ask. I always keep this on my desk. It is my very first crochet project. Technically, it's an egg, or I thought it was an egg, but I had no idea what I was doing. This is the very first crochet project, and I keep it with me just to show myself how far I've come. But you can see, like, if you recognize crochet, you can see that I was crocheting in the back loops only. And yeah, so there's like those lines that go all the way around. And then, yeah, I never like flipped it out either. You can see the tail is on the outside here. So I never like inverted it because it naturally like curls a certain way. There's many things wrong with this, but this little egg, and it turned into a cat toy for a time, was my very first project. Are you planning on crocheting a kiwi for the kiwi? So with that post on Instagram that I posted me with my little chunky kiwi bird. This is the next pattern that's coming up. So I just wanted to crochet up like a chunky one for the mini one, just to make sure that it translates well. And I found like one little detail that I wanted to add for the chunky version, but I think it translates well. I think it would be so cute if I crocheted like a kiwi, and then, you know, you can, I don't know. I haven't thought of it, but maybe like the kiwi cardigan will fulfill that. But that would be cute. A kiwi for the kiwi. What's your favorite plushie to make? I like to switch things up a lot. I don't tend to like replicate a lot of my patterns. I like to make the patterns and then kind of move on. I don't really stick to like this is what I like to, like, this is the one, like, you know, I don't really do markets. So I don't really replicate my patterns. Probably the loaf cat has been a very, I don't know. It's like a very quick one to work up. Like, I don't need to memorize a lot. Like, it kind of just comes together. So I think I've replicated that one the most out of like my newer patterns. When I used to sell like finished objects on Etsy, I used to sell fan art, and now I no longer do. But you know, I did a lot of the calcifers, which I love the calcifer one as well. That one was so fun to make because it combined felting and crochet together. So if you want to see that pattern, actually, I never know what to do with that one because it is requires felting too. So, but if you want to see how I did that one, let me know in the comments. Maybe we can do that. Maybe we can do that. What do you do when you find yourself creatively stuck? And then also, how do you find motivation to crochet when you haven't been feeling your best? I feel like I want to combine these ones together. As you may know, I have taken a few like ups and downs over the past few years with, you know, crocheting on Twitch, crocheting in general. Like I started my Etsy store before Twitch, and then I kind of started posting on here even after that. And I think this is like, I don't know if I have like a really good answer for you. It's such a tough question because you have to be like in the right mental state. But I think where I always get stuck is like I'll pick something up and then I'll start crocheting it and I'll be like, this isn't going well. And then I start like tearing it out, or I just literally cut off the yarn and I'm like, I'm done with this. It's not turning out well. I think there's like two ways you can go with that, in which you can, I've stuck it out before, and that's what happened with the loaf cat. Like you have no idea how many times I put that loaf cat down. I was like, this is bad. I hate it. And then I was told like, you know what, just try finishing it. Just try finishing it. And I was like, okay. And I finished it, and it turned out to be one of like my most successful patterns. And it turned out to be absolutely adorable. And, you know, sometimes just pushing yourself to get through it is great. Another thing that has been helpful is to do something like completely unrelated. So I've had to like step back from crochet. I've had to step back from yarn in general, because I even tried like embroidery, which like kind of like tickled my fancy for a little bit. But I tried embroidery and it wasn't like far enough away from yarn. So I started like gardening a lot, getting outside, exercising. I think just like completely removing yourself from something that you're like really trying to force is helpful. Also, like I took this break of like, oh, it's nice outside, I'm gonna start gardening, and you know, I'm gonna remove myself from crochet, which is frustrating. And then I was kind of just avoiding crochet. It took me a while to just be like, okay, let's just like sit down and tinker around. And like finding the motivation when you haven't been feeling your best is so common. I think doing something that like brings you joy and finding small projects that can give you that like serotonin, that dopamine, to just be like, yes, I did something. Why are you so good at everything? I know this one's from a lovely human named DK, streamer on Twitch, lovely human. But thanks DK, you're so sweet. I am not good at everything. I'm like mediocre at everything. I'm like a master of none, I feel. How do you learn to crochet? I'm learning and I love it, but it's been challenging. Absolutely. Just like I mentioned with my my egg, it is challenging. It is challenging. And once it like, I was talking about this on Twitch today, but once it like clicks, you honestly, like it just suddenly it just clicks. And I think the learning part of it, like you are in good company. Like we've all been there, and it's something that you just have to kind of push through. My recommendation is to always pick small projects. I have started out with amigurumi from the very beginning. So that's kind of what my preference is towards. When you have something so big like a sweater or, you know, pants, I don't know, overalls, like when you have such a big project, it makes you feel like the whole task is daunting. But if you have something small with like a basic shape, like look at like what that shape is. If it's a circle for amigurumi, you're probably golden, but like once it clicks, it will click. It will click. You just have to like get there. It's challenging. It's definitely challenging. My favorite color of yarn to work with, black. No, I'm just kidding. No. I don't think I have a favorite. Actually, I've been like, I really like my blues my blues and my purples, but I never really work with them. I feel like I want to save them. There's like this really pretty color. I never work with it. It's like this like kind of purpley, but like kind of pinky at the same time. It's color 242. I want to say it's like tea rose or something like that. I can't remember the color name, but this one, I love this color, but I don't really work with it that often. I work with a lot of like the neutral colors because I do a lot of animals. So like browns, whites, like cream colors, greens. Yeah, greens because of the plants and stuff. So that's that. Next question, what is your favorite yarn brand? So historically, it has been always Paintbox. I use Paintbox Simply Aran for a lot of my pieces. And most of these shelves are made up of Paintbox. I have just kind of historically loved them just because of, I think the yarn is created well, but they also have like a big color variety, which is great for amigurumi because you're always using different colors or different pieces or whatever. You don't need like 17 balls of yarn for a sweater. So Paintbox has been kind of my go-to for everything. I do have an affiliate link, which is always in my description. I do get some kickback on any sales if anyone clicks the link and then they've purchased something within 30 days, then I get some kickback on the sale. But honestly, you don't have to use the link. You can just go to lovecrafts.com and Paintbox. They have increased their prices over the last little while, which is upsetting. So I usually just wait for a sale and then I pick up some, but I don't think I need any right now. But then for my plushies, I've been using Sweet Snuggles Light or Chenille Home Light, like the smaller version. And I usually get those from like craft stores like Michael's or something like that. I think the most important thing for your real followers is how are you? Short answer, I'm okay. Long answer, it's tricky. I feel like I'm in like this transition of a lot of things and I'm trying to like figure out what makes me happy, what brings me joy. I talk about this a lot on Twitch about kind of like mentally where I'm at and explaining kind of, you know, my thoughts on things, but it's always changing. I'm always trying to like grow and figure out myself. So, you know, right now I'm doing the things that I enjoy and sometimes I have to stop doing them because they no longer bring me joy or I need to take a break from them or step away from them. So I think I'm good. How are you? I always want to know how you guys are. So I hope you're doing well. Thanks so much for the question. Moving on to some of the YouTube questions. What do you like more, designing your pattern or the process of crocheting it? I think I kind of touched on this. I enjoy designing patterns. I don't like to, like I mentioned, I don't like to like repeat a lot of my patterns, like never ending. I'm not like a market seller or anything like that. So I like to design the patterns for other people to use. And hopefully it comes off that way that you guys like the patterns and are enjoying making them. But thank you so much for your question. Thank you. What is the hardest or biggest project you ever done? Oh, I want to say Charizard. That one immediately comes to my head. Charizard was a lot, and I'm so proud of like several things that I did in that pattern, but the Charizard, those wings took forever for me to get, and I finally like shaped them the way that I wanted it to, because I only wanted to see the front side of the stitch. I didn't want to see the back side of the stitch, so I made it work with felt, and I think it came out great. I think it came out really well. What is something you wish you knew before selling online? I think you have to understand that you're not going to be seen a lot at the very beginning. No one knows that you exist until you inform them that you exist, and hopefully you make patterns that they like, or hopefully you make things that they like, and then they'll purchase off of you. But one thing I definitely want to say about selling online, and one thing that if you're just starting to sell, don't undervalue your work just because it might not be selling, or you're not getting a lot of attention on it or anything like that. The value is what you say it is, and you know, there's some guidelines on where to start for how much you should sell it at, but you're the one that made it. So like, you need to determine how much that item costs. Your work is valuable and it takes a long time, and you put a lot of effort into it, and the people who appreciate that will purchase it. The people who think your stuff is too expensive, they will always think your stuff is too expensive. So, you know, they can go to the dollar store and pick up a stuffed plushie from who knows where that's using unethical practices. I think one thing I wish I knew was that it's hard and no one can see you until you make yourself known, and don't undervalue your work because no one has purchased it yet, because no one can see you. But I hope that doesn't make you not want to do it because I said it. Don't be hard on yourself, I guess is where I'm going with it. Don't be hard on yourself. Any advice for beginners? Ooh, I kind of tackled this one a little bit, but basic shapes. And my number one advice for beginners is to find something that you really want to crochet, because you're more likely to finish the thing, and you're more likely to do it, regardless of adversities and how hard it is. Find something that you really want to do. So I really wanted to create a cactus, and it was very hard for me. But I got through it because I really wanted to do it. I think that's kind of the same for just like challenging yourself in general. Find something that you really want to do because you're more likely to tackle it, and really understand like what you're looking at. Because it's one thing to just like say do the single crochet, but it's another thing to like, okay, what does this single crochet look like? I think it helps a lot when you understand what that stitch looks like and what you've just made, I guess. Because you can look back at your piece and be like, oh, that's my single crochet. Oh, I messed up here. You're more likely to recognize what you've done wrong, or when something's not working right, if you can identify the stitches as you go. So really like learn what each piece of the yarn over, pull through, or whatever it is, what that's doing. I think the sooner that you recognize that, the better off you are. Okay, I think I made it through. Okay, I made it through all the questions. Wow, that took a little longer than I thought. If you made it to the end of this, hopefully you found it useful, or maybe you just got to listen and, I don't know, hang out a little bit. So thank you so much for watching. I am working on the little kiwi pattern. I think this guy is adorable, so hopefully I'll get that one out soon-ish, but hopefully this ties you over until then. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.